ginagawa yung batas. So, nung nabanggit nila kanina na nandito si Congressman, natuwa naman ako. Kasi nung nakita ko yung mga nag-approve nung batas na ito, isa si Sir Don. So, parang natuwa ko na, siguro, ang discussion namin mamaya. So, medyo na-call off guard lang po ako na iba pala yung naging expectations. Pero, meron pa akong presentation na ipapakita sa inyo yung usual presentation namin sa pag nagpa-present kami sa mga cooperatives. Pero bago ko po explain further yan, parang magbanggitin ko lang, kasi ito pong batas, kasi kanina may mga nagsasabi na bakit na parang unduly na naisama ang cooperative. Siguro po in the interest naman of transparency, para alam din natin lahat, ito pong batas na ito ay bago kasi maging batas, may tinatawag na House Bill. Ang nag-introduce ng House Bill na ito, in fact, ay ang mga cooperatives. In fact, not co-op na ko yan, or not co-op na ko, ayan, bilang party list representatives at that time, dahil lang isa po sa mga, para may share ko lang sa inyo, may kwento ko lang po sa inyo. Ang sinasabi po kasi nila at that time, parang unfair sa mga cooperatives na lagi na-exclude sa mga financial inclusion, sa economy ng bansa, hindi sila involved. So parang ang ginawa ko ng mga mambabatas natin noong 2007, 2008, gawin natin yung batas, isama natin ang mga cooperative. Dahil nga po dyan, si Senator Butsaquino, he made sure na isa sa mga direktor na stockholder ng CIC ay kasama sa cooperative, ang PCC, ayan, ang Philippine Cooperative Center bilang bilang director namin. Kasi nga po, sinisiguro talaga ng mga legislators natin na gumawa ng batas na ito na kasama, na laging isali ang interes ng mga kooperatiba. Even the Cooperative Development Authority, kasama rin sila dun sa mga regulators, sa mga agencies, government agencies na binabanggit ng CISA. Kasi nga, talagang ito yung push para sa mga kooperatiba. Mga cooperative members ang nagtulak talaga ng batas na isama sila, huwag i-exclude ang mga cooperative members. Kaya nga po sa mga talk namin, every time na nakakausap namin ng mga cooperative, tuwang-tuwa naman po sila na sinasabi nila na maganda to, this time, meron na tayong batas na para sa lahat. Kasi kung mapapansin niyo po, siguro nagtataka rin kayo, bakit naman yung batas, 2008 pa, sabi nga kanina, parang parang magkakapatid lang, yung batas ng 9510 at 9520. Yung batas ninyo, it took effect, mga October 2000, or kami yata, October 2008, yung batas namin. Tapos yung, sa inyo yung Republic Act ninyo, 2009, February. Tapos, hindi pa po natapos doon, yung implementing rules and regulations ng CIC, pagkatapos ng 9520, ginawa naman. So, May 2009. So, nakita nyo, magkakaroon siya. Kung meron mang intention at that time, so, kung during that time meron mang intention, it should have been expressly included in the 9520 or in the rules that created both tayo sa CIC at ang CDA. So, ganun kamahal ng mga mambabatas natin yung ating parehong ahensya. Kasi yun nga, during that time, yun talaga yung intention. Tutukan naman ng mga cooperative members. Gusto ko nga sana basahin kasi nandito, hindi ko po talaga ito sinasadya na dala-dala. Bakit dala-dala ko talaga, Lagi ko lang po talaga nadala, kahit saan kami pumupunta. Nagkataon lang na nabanggit kanina, so na-explain ko po sa inyo na ito po ay hindi ginawa itong batas natin para hindi i-consider ang ating mga cooperative. In fact, kayo nga ang dahilan bakit tayo meron Credit Information Corporation at bakit tayo may CISA. Yung pong mga explanation, yung mga pointers po na na-release kanina, siguro as part of my presentation, babanggitin ko na lang din po yung kasi yung tulad ng waiver, data privacy law, ganyan. So, nandito naman po, nasa presentation ko naman po. Tapos gusto ko lang po i-share ulit sa inyo na nung ginawa ko ang 9510, wala po kahit isang congressman o mambabatas natin ang nag-oppose. Lahat sila talagang unanimous ang kanilang pag-push ng batas na ito. Kaya nga, ang sinasabi nila dito ay yan. So, the results show 198 votes in favor and none against and no abstention. Tapos yung ating introductory bill nga, yun, para na talagang tinutulak. Yan, na tinutulak co-op na po parties. Ayun po pala. Yung nag-push na ito. Ito ay House Bill 2440. So, ano po, para lang tayo may idea, kasi hindi naman po yata lahat naka-attend na po ng ano namin. Naka-attend na po ba kayo ng roadshow namin? Hindi pa. Sige, inform ko po kayo as early as now. Magkakaroon naman po kami ng susunod pa na roadshow para sa Cebu. Although galing na po kami dito, pero babalik ulit kami. Next week naman, nasa Davao kami. So ngayon, yung ibang team po namin ay nasa Naga. So, para makita niyo po ano yung intention talaga ng CIC na sabihin, na-explain kung ano pa talaga yung ginagawa ng CIC. TransUnion, Credit Bureau Singapore, Dun & Bradstreet, yung TransUnion American company yan, tapos yung Credit Bureau Singapore based naman sa Singapore, Dun & Bradstreet sa Dubai. Yung CIBI, private corporation na kasi sila ngayon, so nag-apply din sila as special accessing entity ng CIC. Tapos yung Comprisca naman po sa South Africa sila na company, tapos yung CRIF naman ay sa Italy. So sila yung mga corporations na they are willing to conduct, to invest in the Philippines, to do business in the Philippines. Sila yung business nila ay to provide credit scoring, analytics, kung kailangan po ng mga cooperative ninyo. Yun po yung mga, nila, yun naman po yung mga business nila. So sila po yung anim lang na ina-credit namin kasi mataas yung sinet na standards ng Securities and Exchange Commission. Hindi kami pwedeng mag-accredit ng kahit sino-sino lang. So talagang nag-ano po yan ng screening. In fact, yung consultant sa amin from USAID, sila rin po yung mga nag-assess ng viability ng business and capacity and capability nila to do business in the Philippines. Tapos, next, in relation to the CIC. Para tumanggap ng data, to receive data, and to disseminate data. So, tatanggapin po namin yung mga isasubmit kasi mandato namin yan obligasyon din namin yan. So, second, yung sa pag-disseminate, pagbigay ng data ng credit report. Huwag po kayo mag-alala, pwede niyo po ako i-email. Sa email niyo po yung website. Bibigyan ko po kayo ng copy ng presentation ko para makita niyo po mismo. So, dun po sa pag-receive, pagbigay sa amin dito, wala pong bayad, pero dun sa pagkukunin niyo na yung credit report, may bayad. May mga nagsasabi po na naiintindihan ko naman po na may mga nagsasabi na bakit ganon? Pag binigay namin, libre, tapos kukunin namin, may bayad na kami. Tandaan po natin, yung kinukuha po natin data, hindi lang po yung data na binigay natin, pero lahat po ng data na ng iba pang nagpapautang na nag-submit sa CIC. So po, hindi lang po yung cooperative ninyo, yung iba pang exposure doon sa iba pang cooperative, sa mga bangko, sa GOCs, may GSI, sa SSS, kung meron siyang exposure doon, makikita niyo yun. So, hindi lang po yung sa inyo. Kung sinasabi niyo na, bakit gano'n, may bayad kami, pagkukunin namin, data namin yun. Kasi po, hindi lang po yung data natin, yung i-access natin. So, kailangan po natin i-consider dito yung mga, una po yung system, hindi naman po ito, ang cost po nung system natin, ng infrastructure na ginagamit para lang i-save yung data, hindi po ganun kamura yun. Millions kasi yung cost nun. So, meron po talaga tayong cost for that. Tapos, ang development po niyan, hindi naman, parang bahay, pag na-acquire mo, nag-appreciate yung value ng computer system. Hindi po. Yung system po natin dito na ginagamit, kailangan siya i-develop, kailangan siya i-enhance from time to time. So may cost po yun. Kaya po may fee pag nag-access tayo nung credit report natin. Pero as of now, wala pa po. Kaya nga po encourage namin lahat na mag-submit ngayon ng data. Kasi once na nag-submit kayo ng data, pwede nyo nang i-test yung fee lang. Hindi pa this year kasi wala pa naman siyang bayad. May mga cooperatives na po na nagsasubmit ng data. Baka lang kung magtaka kayo na baka inisip nyo na lahat ng cooperatives ayaw, ganyan. Meron po mga iba, even if hindi pa nila deadline, nagsasubmit na talaga sila. Kasi nga po, sinusuportahan nila yung sistema, yung natin, yung objective ng batas natin. So, next. To know the cause of the loan refusal. Ang kagandahan po nito pag mga kooperatiba yung kausap namin. Kasi ang approach ninyo, hindi lang yung nagpapautang, ang approach ninyo, you always wear two hats Yung kayo yung umutang, kayo rin yung nagpapautang. So, twofold lagi yung sa kooperatiba. Ito po yung explanation natin sa to know the cause or the of loan refusal. Ulitin ko nga po, yung batas natin, itong House Bill natin, ginawa po, nag-undergo po ito ng series of discussions and deliberations. At ang sinasabi ko dito, unfair naman sa mga ibang umutang, hindi nila nalalaman kung bakit na-deny yung application nila. So, dito po sa batas natin ngayon, sinasabi na dapat sabihin kung yung reason ng pag-deny ng loan application ay dahil dun sa credit report na nakita dun sa datos, baka kasi mali, hindi updated, may error. So, yun na dapat masabi sa umutang. Bakit siya na-deny? Dahil yung report na ginamit na basis ay galing sa CIC. Tapos, access po to credit information. Lahat tayo bilang umutang, pwede natin makita yung credit report natin mismo. Pero hindi po yung credit report ng kahit asawa natin, hindi po natin palipunin yon. Yung atin lang mismo. Sa nanay natin, hindi pwede. May isa pong cooperative may isa po kaming pinuntahan, may tatay po na lumapit sa akin after nung talk ko. Sabi niya, ang ganda pala ng batas na ito, dahil hindi lang yan, meron kasi ako, alam mo attorney, meron akong 4 na anak na babae at mag-aasawa na yung isang anak ko dyan. Gusto ko sabihin dun sa mapapangasawa nila na kumuha muna ng credit report sa CIC. So, isa po ito sa mga, pwede niya, pero hindi po pwede yung si tatay na mismo kukuha ng credit report. Dapat po, yung mamanugamin niya, sabihin niya, kumuha ka muna ng credit report kasi yung mga anak daw niya ay babae at marami siyang naipundal na property. So, yan. Pero totoo naman po yun. Meron tayong guide para makita ng ating credit report. Yung next po, yung to dispute erroneous, incomplete, or misleading credit information. Isa po ito sa talagang inilagay din ng mga mambabatas natin dun sa batas na dapat wala na, kasi ngayon pag may filing fee pa, nakababayad pa tayo ng attorney's fees, bakit nga bang mahal yung attorney's fees, attorney, parang maraming proseso. So ito yung sistema natin, administrative mabilis lang na pag may error dun sa credit report, hindi na natin kailangan ng attorney. Pwede natin ipakita, i-present dun sa CIC. Kasi kami, ang gagawin namin, hindi naman po kami allowed na mag-edit ng mga information. So, tatawagan namin yung corporation, kung sino yung submitting entity na nag-submit ng information, kung bakit hindi updated yung report nyo. Kung kunwari nakapagbayad na pala kayo, pero sa credit report nyo wala pa, pero meron kayong mga resibo, pwede ma-update yung credit report ninyo. At ito po, kanina si Sir may nabanggit po siya dun sa notice. Explain ko lang po yung nakalagay po kasi sa batas na the borrower has the right to be notified by the submitting entity of the latter's obligation to submit and disclose basic credit data to the CIC. Yun nga, dati po kasi yung mga nagpapautang, tulad ng mga bangko, binibigyan nila yung information sa iba, na hindi alam itong ating umuutang. So, eto naman, ang sabi ng batas natin, yung ginagawa nga nila, na dapat ma-inform. I-inform natin yung ating umuutang, yung miyembro natin na what
if the borrower refuses that his credit information will be disclosed.
Ayan po yung ano ko, no, yung kasama sa i-explain ko. Yung wordings po ng batas namin, to be notified by the submitting entity. Nung ginagawa po itong batas na ito, ang mga considerations po na tinignan nila, dati po sa ibang bansa tulad ng Thailand, Mexico, even Spain, ang nakalagay doon, requirement, dapat may consent. Tatanong mo muna yung borrower mo, gusto mo ba i-submit yung data mo dun dito sa kumpanya, sa registry na ito? Ang nangyari, hindi sila pumapayag. So walang mga borrower na nagpapasubmit ng data sa ibang bansa. Kaya ang ginawa sa ibang bansa rin, binago nila yung policy na yun. Ang ginawa, hindi na consent. Ang ginawa na, notice. So, dinala ng batas na to sa Pilipinas, yun yung mga kinonsider ng mga mababatas natin. Nasabi, sige, ilagay natin the right to be notified. Otherwise, if we get the consent of all those borrowers, chances are hindi magiging comprehensive yung data natin. We will not going to achieve the purpose that we want. And our objective is to have a centralized, comprehensive data. So, ito po, ulitin ko po, ang sabi po ng batas, to be notified. So, yung pong mga miyembro natin, sabihin po natin sa kanila na yung data nila, papadala ng sulat o kaya during conventions po, inform sila na yung data nila nasa CIC para po, in case na kailangan nila o gusto nilang makita yung mga credit report nila, pwede po nilang makita. Pwede nilang makita.
So you mean a borrower cannot refuse?
Yes, opo.
So that is one of the questions raised by our cooperative. The question of your intrusion to the privacy of a person's communication.
Ang consequence naman po kasi niya doon sa kooperatiba. Sila kasi yung nag-ahawak nun, diba? Tapos gusto niyo po ba na kooperatiba kayo pero meron kayong miyembro na ayaw magpakita ng data nila. So, ito naman po yung mga win-win natin.
But anyway, our cooperative is really bent in trying to question the constitutionality, but only as far as our cooperative is concerned. We do not also mind the business of other cooperatives who are with you in the CIC, but because our chair is a constitutionalist and has several points raised, we wish the Supreme Court finally to determine this matter. Thank you.
Sige po. Tunang nabanggit niyo po yan, yun nga po, meron kaming discussion sa kanila dahil they also recognize the need for this type of system to be finally in the Philippines. So, marami pa, simula 2002 pa lang talagang pinupush na ng World Bank ang Pilipinas sa gumawa nito ng batas. Kaya itong batas natin, nag-undergo siya ng several.
You know, every time a law is enacted, there is always a rationale or a real objective for enactment that law. For this particular law, Republic Act 9510, what really is the real objective? Because the CFI Co-op until today cannot really get what is the real objective.
Yung objective po natin, yung to have a centralized credit registry.
But those are functions.
Apo.
Those are functions. That's not the objective in the creation of the law.
Opo. Yung mandate natin, i-align with that to have for the financial inclusion, for everyone to be included and not to be adversely judged by the lenders. Kasi kung yung lender, hindi niya alam.
Is it really? Because to be really frank about it, I have not read this law. But when reading a law, I always read first the rationale or the real objective. So what really is the real objective as found in
Pwede
the
ko
law?
po kayong bigyan ng copies ng law natin sa IRR. Opo. Tapos ano po yan, may mga, even the deliberations, para makita niyo po, makikita niyo na lahat talaga dun sa Kongreso, nung panahon ni Sir. Lahat talaga sila nag-agree na oo, dapat yan.
And the real objective is, just give me the gist.
For the financial inclusion of everyone, for everyone to be included in the system and not to exclude everyone, and for the lender himself to see the payment behavior of the borrower, of the borrower. Because as a lender, ayaw naman natin na pautangin natin yung mga hindi natin kilala. Tapos ang ano po dito, ultimately, mas mababa yung interest kasi nakikita natin na maganda pala yung payment behavior niya. At in most cases, hindi na binibigyan ng collateral. Ito yung objective natin dito Wala ng collateral. Because now in the Philippines, usually ganun yun, attached dun sa utang yung collateral. Hindi ka pa uutangan kapag wala kang collateral. Which is very much unfair. In fact, even World Bank was telling us, bakit ganun tayo sa Pilipinas? Sa ibang bansa, hindi. If they see your payment behavior that you pay well, chances are, your interest, the interest that will be imposed upon you by your lender, mas mababa. Kasi, ito naman pala, kahit naman pala abogado to si Attorney Bautista, maganda naman pala lahat ng utang niya, nababayaran niya. Hindi ko na siya kailangan hingian ng collateral. So, dalawa po yung objective natin dito. Minimal interest and not to ask for further collateral. Wag na.
May I intervene?
Sige po.
The purpose of Republic Act 9510 is to establish a credit information system not for the benefit of co-ops but for the benefit of big banks, developers, and others, so that co-ops will not really benefit. In fact, as I see, co-ops will be prejudiced, injured, because the information that the co-ops will give about the good borrowers, this will be known to the banks and other finance, and this can be pirated because co-ops, the interests of co-ops generally are higher than the banks. What will prevent the banks from approaching our good members and say, oh, you are paying 2% to CFI, ours is only 7%. We will redeem your loan from CFI and you borrow from us. That is really, this is big business. The people behind this, establishing a credit information system, what will it co-op benefit from this? Nothing. And besides, as I said, this law has already been amended or modified by Republic Act 9520, a later law. Because this law interferes or intervenes into the internal affairs of cooperatives, which under the cooperative code is a no-no, bawal. No public official or employee shall directly or indirectly interfere in the internal affairs of the co-op. In fact, that is a criminal offense. That is why I said, if the CIC will not just touch the co-op, we will not anymore raise some fuss about this. Because this law, 9510, violates 9520, and there is the new Data Privacy Act, Republic Act 10173. There are certain requirements which CIC is not complying. There are certain requirements before you can process information. For example, and I think CIC is already aware of this. That is why in their latest circular, they are asking the co-op to include a waiver on the part of the borrower that they will allow their credit information to be accessed by the CIC. Because that is now a requirement of the new Data Privacy Act of 2012. Now, if you cannot get the waiver, why should the co-op give credit information when there is need of a waiver, especially in cases of sensitive information? Now, under the rules and regulations of SEC, implementing Republic 95-10, what the individual, the members of the COOP will submit is not only the age, whether they're married, but also your PIN, your SSS. Now, these are sensitive information, and this requires a waiver on the part of the borrower. That is why I said we better have a dialogue. And also in the circular of CIC, they are threatening the co-ops that there will be administrative penalty of 30,000 a day for every day that you miss to furnish. This is illegal. No landlord, no private corporation like CIC can impose administrative fines. Where in the world can a private corporation impose a fine on people? And besides,
Only in the
they are
Philippines.
getting property. Your property can be, this information is property, record. Now, they are getting property from co-ops without compensation. You report without compensation. Private property cannot be taken for public use without just compensation. That is the Constitution. But they are taking this property, this record from the co-op without paying just compensation. So that is why I said that there should be a dialogue. And because the CIC is issuing circulars. Imagine in the latest circular, it said, any law order in violation of the circular shall be repealed. Inconsistent, the circular shall be repealed. Can you imagine a private corporation, stock corporation, issuing a circular and repealing the law or executive order? That is why I said, let us have a dialogue. Let us follow the rule of law.
Sir, can we suggest that the dialogue be conducted now? Anyhow, there are many representatives of cooperatives all over the Philippines.
Yes, no,
And top officials so that we will know from them. Because this is not, sir, during our meeting, we already had decided we will file a petition for declaratory relief because we were mandated already to submit this thing, and from the very start, our board found it constitutional. So, may I suggest that considering that all the representatives of the many cooperatives all over the Philippines are already here, they heard what you said this morning, and the CIC people are here, can we hold that dialogue? Anyway, our stand is, if they will just exempt the cooperatives from it, we will not file that petition. For all the reasons that you have given, and which we, the board, really supported because we believe that they are correct and authentic, and it's very difficult to refute them. So what about it, sir? The dialogue now.
That is why I said, let's have this dialogue. Because there are three main solid constitutional and legal issues against the CISA. Number one is the Constitution. The privacy of communication and correspondence shall be inviolable, except upon lawful order of the court. Then also, this provision that the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects shall be inviolable. So, these are also the new law. I think CIC knows about the law. Because in their latest circular, they are already including the waiver. That the cooperative should already include the waiver. But we are not including the other requirements of this Data Privacy Act. For example, there is a criteria. I would like to point out Section 12 of Republic Act 10173, criteria. You must comply, and also Section 18, the notice, I used to have that time, but it's somewhere. The notice that must be sent to the data subject, in this case the borrower. They must be notified. There are certain things. You must give notice to the data subject if you are to process his personal information as to who will be the recipient of this information. He has to be notified. What is the purpose of getting my personal information? That should be notified. There are about 10 in Section 18. Please take note of that. Of Republic Act 10173.
Sir.
So, that's why, in order to avoid the acute angle, let's just concentrate on Republic Act 9520, which is later than Republic Act 9510. Because 9510 was approved October 31, 2008. A later law. Our law, our cooperative code, was approved February 17, 2009. So any law, and that includes 9510, in conflict with the provisions of 9520, is deemed repealed, amended, or modified. So, do not touch cooperatives, because there is nothing, no benefit you can get from supplying this information of our borrowers. What benefit will we get? They will get it for free, and they will sell it for a fee to the developers, to the banks, and other financial companies who would like information about borrowers.
Sir, may I ask a clarificatory question from our beautiful speaker? Because earlier she said, and I even raised this matter, she said that there is no need to ask the consent of the borrower that their credit information already submitted to CIC will be released. Now, according to her, there is no need to ask the consent because all the CIC has to do, according allegedly to the law, is only to notify the member that their credit information will be released. Is it not, Panira? I think that is what I got from what you said.
Sige po. Kasi parang paikot-ikot lang po tayo. Pasensya na po kayo, Congressman.
But I just want to ask that
Gusto ko nga po
clarification.
talagang
That is misleading.
So you are
Because
misleading.
under the law, this information submitted can be accessed. The accessing entity, special accessing entity. For example, here is a developer. They have condominiums. Now many will apply by installment. So, there is an applicant. They will just go to CIC, find out what is this applicant. And they will charge.
That's why, sir. I would like to ask Panira, very beautiful Panira, why did you say earlier that there is no need to ask the consent from the borrower? So, what is it that sir is saying that you are now requiring that the borrower will sign a waiver? Because making them sign a waiver is an indication that you yourself are doubting the constitutionality of the law.
Pwede na po
Why
ako
require a waiver if you think it is constitutional?
Another thing. Why is it, if it is not necessary, why is it that the CIC in the circular, I have the circular here, is telling the co-op to let your borrower sign with it if that is not necessary? Why is it?
Ganito po, para lang po may tayo correct information. Minsan kasi mahirap na pag misinformation. To clarify, ulitin ko po, two phases po kasi ito, no? Yung una, yung pag-submit ng data sa CIC. Pag sinabit niyo po yung data sa CIC, hindi niyo na po kailangan sabihin dun sa mga member ninyo na, hindi niyo na sila kailangan tanongin kung pumapayag sila. kailangan nyo i-inform sila para alam nila na yung data nasa CIC. So isa po yun, yung submission ng data. Ang second po doon na kailangan ng waiver nila, pag i-access nyo po yung data, pag yung pong lender, yung magpapautang, kailangan niyang i-access yung data para makita yung information ng umuutang, doon po natin kailangan ng waiver. So, ano lang po, to clarify. Tapos, to answer din po yung questions kanina ni Sir, na latter law kasi yung ating batas, as opposed to the 9520 or 95 countries later that meron po kasi nagtatawag na if it's expressly, kasi siya deemed, we cannot just say na deemed na siya. So, aabot po talaga tayo ng kailangan na ito. Tapos, dun lang po, to answer the question regarding data privacy law, kasi may binabanggit si Sir kanina na hindi nagko-comply ang CIC doon sa data privacy law. Ito po yung lagi namin na-explain as part of the as part of the information campaign and as part of the educational awareness. Kasi dapat po talaga maging aware tayo. Ano ba ito? Hindi yung naririnig lang natin, Nakalagay po kasi sa data privacy law mismo, yung binabanggit ni Sir kanina, sa section 4, our legislators recognize the existence of 9510. In fact, nilagay nila dun sa data privacy law that any terms, any and all terms included there are not applicable to the CIC. So yun po sinasabi ko sa kanina, paliwanag po sa batas, section 4, paragraph 3. So hindi po kasama. Para lang kung meron tayong correct and accurate information, mahirap kasi pag may mga nadidinig tayo pero hindi naman natin nakita mismo yung batas, hindi natin nabasa talaga yung batas, mahirap po maging basis yun para sa sa pag-agree natin dun sa mga sinasabi ng iba. So, yun po, to answer the concern of Sir earlier, expressly provided in the data privacy law that the provisions there are not applicable to the CIC. The CIC is exempted from the provisions of the data privacy law. So, just to make that clear. And our friend Miss Rachel Bones, will have something to say to address your concern about the objectives. Si Miss Rachel po is a representative of the World Bank para lang po na-explain.
That is why, because I asked Sir Kachitorina, are you the one? I asked him, until date, who are those individuals and enterprises who have already accessed your data? Because in your presentation earlier, we were informed that this credit information will be accessed by individuals and enterprises. So far, I asked him, who are these individuals and enterprises who have already availed of this credit information from CIC? And he said he cannot even tell it because it is confidential. See? It's also confidential. You cannot also reveal. Who are these enterprises? I am asking that because I want also to show to Sir Public that he is correct in his presumption that those people who will be benefited by this CIC are the real estate developers, the big banks and everything. That's why I asked him, who are these? Just to refute our concern and apprehension regarding this matter. But he will refuse. So it's okay, I cannot also compare him to the Bowles because that is what he said. So, but if you are not going to answer our query, that will all the more bolster our belief that real estate developers, big time and big banks are the ones benefiting from this and at the poor expense of the cooperatives. That is part.
Ganito po, yung nabanggit ko nga po kanina, hindi po lahat kahit sino pwedeng mag-access. Ang makakapag-access lang po, yung mga magsasubmit ng data, tulad po ng kooperatiba, ng bangko, provided may uutang sa kanila. Kasi ito naman po, laging as kunwari ako, may existing utang po ako sa kooperatiba ninyo, meron ako sa kooperatiba ninyo, meron din po akong utang sa Citibank, meron din akong utang sa China Bank. Ngayon, magme-member ako sa isang kooperatiba para maging member nila ako, gusto ko umutang sa kanila. Tatanungin ako ng kooperatiba na bagong uutangan ko kung okay sa akin kasi magsasign ako ng waiver doon So sila, dahil inuutangan ko sila yung makakakita ng data ko. Hindi hindi po tama. It's not accurate to say na kahit sino-sino na lang, mga real developers, just anyone can see. In fact, I was even telling earlier that even your own spouse cannot see your data unless your spouse is a cooperative or is a bank from whom you are borrowing the data. In fact, also, even the presidents of banks are not allowed to see the data. Only the responsible loan officers are allowed to see the data provided that you have indicated to them your waiver. Kasi yung ano po natin, kaya isang importante po talagang information campaign natin. Kasi pag na-explain po sa inyo yung technical aspect ng CISA, ng Credit Information System, makikita niyo po na dahil sa required mandatory fields, not anyone can see the data. Kahit po ang dami nilang alam na information sa inyo, kung hindi po kayo utang din sa tao na yun, hindi niya makikita yung data niyo. So, para ano lang po, kasi baka inisip ninyo na, naku, paano yan? Malalaman na ng kapitbahay yung utang ko. Yung real developer, malalaman yung utang ko. Yung bangko din sa kapitbahay ko, malalaman na. Hindi po. Just to make it clear. Kasi ang hirap talaga na naging tagana tayo, na nagkaklamor tayo for something na in-establish before taking into consideration all the necessary and all the factors, kaya kailangan ko lang po explain din sa inyo yun. So,
Just last clarificatory question. May I know if it is true what I heard that if you wish to access information from the CIC, you have to pay 55,000 pesos?
Oh, you're making me a profit.
Ayan po. Naku, kung sino man po ang nagsabi na dapat pinapala ng contempt, hindi po 55,000 pesos. 55 pesos for every, employee. Kunwari yung ako, ang dami pang exposure, total of 100 pages yun. Pag print nyo, 55 pesos lang po yun. 55 pesos. Per person. So kung kooperatiba po kayo, meron kayong 5 miyembro na uutang sa inyo, kailangan nyo makita lahat ng information nila. So, ano po yun? 55 pesos per person. Doon po sa mga lenders. Saka ang lender po, hindi po siya pwede mag-access sa kahit na lender siya kung hindi siya nag-submit ng
What
information.
about 35,000 pesos?
Wala, hindi ko pa alam yun. Again, kaya kami ulit ko, sana po meron tayong information awareness, educational awareness tungkol dito.
For accreditation, how much? How much do you pay? For accreditation, assessing, in order to be accredited as an assessing entity, how much?
Ang maganda po dito,
How much will it? Well,
wala pong bayad. Sa kooperatiba, wala po tayong bayad for accreditation fee. Wala. Ang meron po kami accreditation fee, yung mga, in-explain ko po kanina ng mga credit bureaus, yung TransUnion, yung CRIF, kung narinig niyo po kanina in-explain ko na meron kami mga in-accredit na credit bureau. Dahil sila, hindi po sila nagpapautang, kaya sila kailangan i-accredit as a special accessing entity. Magkaiba po, sa kooperatiba, wala po tayong membership fee, wala po tayong accreditation fee, wala po tayong
What about annual dues and subscription?
wala po kayong, ito po yung maganda dito, hindi tulad ng ipas. In fact, sa ibang bansa, may mga, may mga subscription, may annual sila, annual dues, annual fee. Sa Pilipinas, hindi po, we did not, although we are allowed, but we did not make, wala po tayong babayarang mga accreditation fees. Once na nag-submit kayo ng data, you are treated as a submitting entity, in which case, you can access the data 55 pesos. Pesos po.
question. Will the CIC pay the co-op for every credit information that CIC gets from the co-op? Will CIC pay for that credit information?
Kapag yan po yung sinasabi ko kanina dun sa unang part ng presentation ko na bilang magsasabi tayo ng data, kasi yung data naman, pag sinabit nyo, data lang ng cooperative ninyo.
Now, please answer my question. Will CIC
Yes or no?
pay?
Wala pong bayad kasi ano nga po yun eh. Dahil pag nagsabit po kayo ng data,
No. Please answer the question. Will CIC pay for a credit information for every individual credit information supplied by a co-op to CIC?
wala po tayo.
And then, this information you are going to sell to the assessor, to assessing entity.
That's it, that's it. That should be answered.
Please answer that.
Kasi nga po yung
answer.
wala po tayong bayad sa pagkukuha ng data. Pero kaya po tayo magbabayad ng 55 pesos kasi ang makukuha niyo naman ng data, hindi lang po yung data na sinabit ng cooperative ninyo, pero yung lahat ng data na galing din sa pinag-uutangan ng tao na yun. At in-explain ko po, ang cost po ng natin, ng system natin, is more than 100 million pesos ang cost ng system natin. Hindi ma-maintain na ng government kung wala tayong mga fees na
Is the question, been answered?
Just, hi, good afternoon sa Tanandere. I'm Rachel Bonus Pestaño, and I am from Cebu. So thank you very much for all this lovely dialogue.
Excuse me, please, because there is a question from one cooperative.
The problem here is that CIC may be telling the truth, but not the whole truth.
Yes, well,
For example, my question, you made the co-op spend a lot for putting up this reporting system, electronic or what, automated. And the co-op will communicate with you and pay also instead. Now, will the CIC pay the co-op for the information that it is getting from the co-op? Will it pay? Will it pay? And you see, under the Constitution, private property, and that is private property of the co-op, the information, the record, private property shall not be taken for public use without just compensation. But here, the CIC is enriching itself at the expense of the cooperative.
Sir, may I...
Will the co-op allow that?
No, we should not allow the co-op. Sir, I would just like to inform that the gentleman who came and near me would actually raise the same matter as you have already raised, sir. Because he wants to refute your statement that this thing, if you will submit, will not cost the co-op something. According to him, that's the one that surveys, that the co-op has to pay for the CERCAP. He is from Ilocos. He is a representative of a cooperative from Ilocos. He raised that concern that he does not believe your statement, that there is no cost to the co-op at all. Sir, you say it yourself.
I'm a cooperative chair of SACDECO. We've been 31 years in the business of credit. We are a 1 billion enterprise, and we have two general sets of members, the non-bankables and the bankables. Siyempre sa bankables, madala information. Non-bankables like farmers for 25 years, 70 years, tapos biglang kuha ka ng TIN. Kuha ka ng ID. He has no ID for the last 70 years of his life. Tapos bigla mo siyang makukunin ng ID. That's one of our predicaments. Your statement na walang cost. Meron po kaming cost. Actually, we have 21 branches. We have to buy computer units, sets, just for this, and hire people, at least 2 per branch, just to econ. How many members do we have? 31,000 members, scattered to Lower Luzon. Kayo po, 100,000.
Hindi ko pa sinabi na walang, ang sabi ko po, COSA system, yung system na, kasi may mga iba pong system, na may mga iba po silang misinterpretation, na sinasabi nila, kailangan pa nilang bumili ng software para makapag-submit ng data. Hindi po kailangan bumili ng software. Wala pong additional na kailangan bilhin sa software. Yun po yung sinasabi ko, just to clarify, para hindi tayo, hindi po tayo, wala pong software yan para makapag-comply.
Hardware.
Ayun nga po, pero wala pong software. Yun po yung sinasabi ko.
One resource,
Opo.
and even probably an office for that. Kasi after that, I think you go back 5 years, and then monthly you're going to report to your office. So definitely you will have to have people doing that on a monthly basis. What will happen to our big business? That's why may mga
Okay, Alex, thank you. Before you, do not sit down. If you're not yet finished with your napag-utusan lang po ako ng chairman, we would like to request all the representatives of CIC to be seated po at the presidential table para medyo level naman po yung ating conversation. I believe the dialogue has formally started kanina pa. So, yan na po. Upo na lang po tayo kasi I think we will not proceed now with the presentation. Tuloy-tuloy na lang po tayo dun sa
Actually, yun naman po,
dialogue.
yun naman po yung last.
Yes, attorney. So, there's a request from our chairman, Rabanera, to please be seated. Thank you. Okay. Wala kasi tayong moderator ngayon eh. So, you have a question?
Sige. These are just one. Kasi sabi niya, receive and consolidate. Pero sa aming experience, it's a imposition. It's an imposition. Why? Because the information they need, not the information that we need. So, why if you just simplify the information that they need? Pwede namang pangalan lang ng borrower, magkano yung utang niya, nakabayad ba o hindi. Period. Pwede naman ganun kasimple para makuha natin yung information. I think in the Credit Card Association of the Philippines, ganun kasimple. Pangalan, tapos yung credit card number, tapos ilang beses hindi nagbayad, a simple credit history, that's all. I think. To simplify. Tapos, the third one is yung definition ng co-ops. Kasi, the word cooperative is, I think, is a generic statement because there are cooperatives that are non-credit in operations. So, if there are definition of words there, please include the definition of cooperatives that are included under the Cisa Law. It should be cooperatives involved in credit. So, to make it clear. And the last one is yung sa bankable and non-bankable, medyo nahihirapan talaga kami sa mga non-bankables. Tama po yung sabi ni former Deputy Speaker na ang makikinabang dito ay yung big banks. Kasi kami naman, kilala natin yung member namin eh. We know our members. We know them very well. They've been there for the last for the last 50 years. Kilala na sila. Kumbaga, it's our stake. It's our stake. It's our risk if we will give a loan to a certain member or not. Kasi kami na yung magkakaroon ng CIDI. We will do it ourselves. And mind you, baka wala rin mag-access sa Cisa sa atin eh.
Your concern that's very much at least inconsistent with the other sentiments that we are getting from other cooperatives because as they say, their loan portfolio, even among their members, are really getting high. Ang daming default. Members na nila yun, hindi pa rin nila ma-assure yung payment ng mga members nila. So, ito po, tuwang-tuwa, ang mga iba na, ang mga kooperatiba na nakakausap namin kasi nga po, ito yung system na pwede na po nilang ma-develop para po magamit, para mabawasan yung nila, yung sa mga pag-increase ng default, even among members. So, naintindihan ko pa sinasabi nila na meron sila, pero bakit po may mga sentiments galing sa marami natin cooperative, sa mga cooperative na ang laki ng mga default nila. So, this is one of those concerns that they have been raising to us and that we are very glad that we have this type of system.
So, I believe we have three.
So from banks, commercial banks, every type of bank, cooperative and financing institutions. That is the mandate, to gather credit data, and it is not to sell the credit data. So we want that clear. This is a good avenue that we're having a dialogue, and we can sit down some more another time to discuss this further and then to take each one to the benefits, first and foremost, of the credit information system. Secondly, point by point, what the concerns are and how we can help. We are here to help rather than to make it hard. But it is true, we acknowledge that. Every start is hard. Kahit panganganak, it's hard. But, there is a benefit to it. So that is what we want to address. Yes, and Madam Judge, thank you very much for all the concerns. Those are well taken note of.
I'm just confused with what you said, that actually the information is not to be sold. But if you are not selling it, why do you require a payment of how much is that? 5 pesos per 55 pesos? So, you please enlighten us, because the more we listen to you, the more we are confused
Yes,
of what really this law is all about.
That's a good clarification. That's a good point to clarify. Again, as Attorney Ala has mentioned, there is a maintenance just to keep this the system going, because this would require constant updating. Plus, the big picture is, especially when you see the core, it's a 360-degree view of the customer. And another thing, Madam Judge, just to add to it, we are mandated to give the credit info to CIC, but accessing is not mandated. For co-ops or any other individuals are not required to get information from CIC. You're not by law obliged to get information from CIC. Only if you believe that the risk is so great that you want to assess it against credit information. For example, if it's a 1,000 peso loan, you don't need to get it if you believe that you can afford to not get credit information.
Madam, I would just like you, because you are the representative from the World Bank, I don't know, please also convey our sentiments and the sentiments of that representative from the cooperative of Ilocos, that they spend so much for submitting to you. And also, please remember and convey also the sentiment of the CFI Co-op, as already expressly stated by our chairman, that please leave the cooperatives alone. If you mind your work, we also mind ours. Like, to borrow the language of our newly elected president. That is just the sentiment of the cooperatives. Because we spend so much, you heard already, also our travails in being mandated to submit all of these entries, and with all the constitutional infirmities that we believe are present in the creation of this law. If you can do something about it, being the representative of the World Bank, we will appreciate it.
But just to address that, with respect to the sellings and cost, the intention here is not for the agency to generate revenue. Kaya kung napapansin niyo po, yung mga stockholders natin ay mga asosasyon, hindi mga tao, para yumaman sila. Dahil ang intention lang dito, yung makukuhang pera ay pang-maintain lang ng system, pambili natin ng system kung saan kinokolate yung data. Hindi po para magpayaman yung mga directors, kaya nga 60% dun sa government, 40% dun sa associations. And take note, yung association po natin, may kasama nga po yun doon ng Philippine Cooperative Center. So, ito pong mga asosasyon na to,
Please, excuse me, I have to interject. Now, it seems that the CIC is already aware of the existence of a law that was passed in 2012, the Data Privacy Law. You have been repeating that there is the law 9510. My question is, have you read thoroughly the Data Privacy Law? Have you read Section 6 of the law? Have you read Section 12 of the law? And have you read also the duties of an information provided? Now, there are requirements, notices in Section 18. Have you complied with that? For example, the notice to the borrower that you must identify, inform the borrower whose credit information you are trying to secure. To whom will his credit information, who will be the recipient of that credit information. That is one of the requirements of notice, Section 18. So, while you are insisting on 12 debt, why are you not? For example, in your latest, I think it is circular number 2, number 1, 2015. I use only copy here because, for example, you are aware because you are requiring cooperatives or the submitting entities to get a waiver from the borrower. So you know that there is such a requirement. But you did not include the other requirements provided in the data privacy law. Let us not try to mislead one another. The truth is, the data privacy law renders ineffective or renders inutile Republic Act 9510 because of the many requirements before you can process data. In that law, the CIC is both an information controller and processor. And there are requirements there. Please read these requirements and report to the National Privacy Commission whether you have complied with this requirement. So there is really a need of a dialogue because you are threatening cooperatives and other submitting entities that failure to submit will subject you to sanctions at 30,000 pesos a day. Imagine that, 30,000 pesos a day. But you should know, because there are lawyers, I suppose, in CIC, that is illegal. A private corporation like CIC, organized for profit, because there are stocks. 40% of your capital is privately owned. Now, so this is, imagine a private corporation imposing a fine of 30,000 pesos a day. You are including that in your circular, signed by Mr. Taxtorina. I have here, but it is somewhere. And you are also in your circular stating that any law order issuance inconsistent with the circular. The circular will be private corporation repealing a law. Imagine that. That is why I think we need to confer consultation because you are embarrassing the CIC with this circular. For those who know. And also, you are limiting the requirements in your suggestion in the circular signed by Mr. Castellorina to two of the requirements in the data privacy law. But you did not mention the other requirements. Remember, the only obligation on the part of, say, the submitting entity is only to notify the borrower that you are required to, required to submit data. But the other notices you have, it is the CIC that can supply the notices. For example, the notice, as I said, that you must tell the borrower whose data or whose information is being processed by you. For whom is this information to be transmitted. Who will be the recipient of this transmission? That is the requirement. Section 18 of the Data Privacy Law. So, let us have a dialogue so that all these things can be traced out. Because until now, you have not explained what benefit, what advantage a cooperative can get after spending, I heard about the Ilocos, how many computers they contain. Oh. What is the advantage of the cooperative? What is the advantage? We are not. So, you get property, intangible property from us. And yet, without paying compensation, and you are selling this in the guise of fees to accessing entities. I do not know how much you are charging per accessing per information that you are giving. How much? 55 pesos. Getting and having obtained that for free from the cooperative. Where is the justice then? That's immoral. That is why I hope that this will be understood, and I hope also that we, cooperatives, where the Constitution mandates that an agency, the CDA, shall be created to promote the viability and growth of cooperatives.
Good evening po. Mansueto de la Peña po, Manny yung pangalan sa cooperative. From Oro Integrated Cooperative. Meron sana akong itatanong, Mr. Chair. Kaya lang, medyo tatanungin ko muna kayo kung ano bang oras tayo hanggang dito. Kasi there's so many colleagues na parang gusto ko uwi by 4 o'clock. Kasi yung question ko might get long kasi I'm very agreeable of the statement of our dear Congressman Paming Garcia and so on with the other leaders who have been said their piece. Ako naman, hindi ako abogado, but in business parlance, very simple. Sabi ni ma'am, hindi naman kayo, obliged to access the system, the data. Yes, but why you have going to pay? Ikalawa, maraming data yung co-ops compared to the banks. Yung kanina nagsabi is only 35,000 members. Our cooperative, one of the oldest cooperative in Mindanao, is also 140,000 members. And 80% of them belong to the non-bankable members. So malaking bagay yun, malaking bagay. So kung sabihin mo, walang bayad. If we access a data from, sabihin natin, yung kaparihan ng Davao City, 100,000 members din, yung Tagum. Gusto namin tingnan na mayroon bang may utang sa kanila. Kung 100,000 yun, kung 50 pesos yun, 5 million yun, you're talking about 5 million, you're talking about chicken here. You're talking about millions of pesos from the cooperative movement. Ilan lang yun sa mga bankable organization, maliit lang yung membership nila. May nagsabi nga doon, yung bangko okay yun because the funds of the bank belong to the public. But the funds of the cooperative belong to the members, not to the public. So, yun lang siguro, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Narinig ko rin yung boses ko, grabe, no? I was really waiting for my chance. Now, well, I want to share this with you. And first of all, I would like to thank this Congressman Padilla for his inputs. I'm sorry, yan, Congressman Garcia for his inputs, and then Chairman Banera for allowing CIC to be present here to hear all of your concerns. But ako kasi, I've been actually handling cooperatives since last year. So I've been to a lot of places, I've met a lot of you, si Sir Manny, also I met from Baguio. And then some of you, I think we've met already from some of the initiatives that we did. I was just waiting for some of the cooperatives to mention things like ano yung yun nga hinihintay ko, ano yung mga magiging benefit nito sa cooperative, what CIC can share, and it was unfortunate that it was not discussed. Ngayon, ang lumabas parang discussion naging natin is based on the legal basis. So, me as a Filipino, I'm not going to talk about me being part of CIC kasi malapit ako sa mga cooperative. I understand all of your concerns because I've been talking with you since last year, week by week, going to certain places and regions. And some of the cooperatives see the benefits, some of the cooperatives do not. But one thing that I want to clarify sana, yung debate natin kanina, it was good. We were given some insights kung ano yung mga nararamdaman ng mga cooperative, lalo na yung malalaki. But isa lang gusto kong matanong, ang challenge ba natin is based on the challenge as a cooperative or we're looking after the benefit of our members? Parang ganon. So, kasi if we're going to look at it on the perception of the cooperative as a business, as an organization, as a federation, mahirap kasi nasa inyo yung task. But I'm pretty sure kasi some of the members dito, mayroong mga may mga credit card. So they themselves do not just borrow money from the cooperative, but they do borrow money from other financing companies also. So, ang tanong ko dito they have also the right na malaman ng ibang credit facilities of the good behavior that they have. Like for example, if they are part of your cooperative, tapos maayos sila magbayad sa inyo, tapos lumapit sila sa isang bangko, humingi sila ng utang, tapos hiningan sila ng credit report, ang sabi nila, dapat ang magbigay yung cooperative based sa lahat ng pinagkautangan nila at wala kayong masupply. So parang, diba? So, those are one of the benefits. Maraming benefits itong report na to but it was not discussed today. That is why parang sayang, lagi ko pa naman kayo hinahanap. I always keep looking for those cooperatives, lalo na sa inyo, so that I can sit down with you one-on-one and to share to you ano talaga yung benefit and not talk about the legal aspect o kung ano man. Kasi for me, yung pagbayad kasi, like penalty, hindi naman yan lahat naman ng law, once na ang intention mo is not to follow, doon ka kakasuhan Pero if intention mo is intended, like either may malaking reason justifiable for you not to comply or any other reason, well, gano'n naman. So, well, that is it. I'm not saying this to open another session for today or something, but I really feel sad na hindi natin napag-usapan how we can help you at saka the benefit that you can get from it. So again, thank you very much.
Well, I must admit, I'm Gary from San Dionisio Credit Cooperative. I must admit that I had skepticism dito sa pag-implement ng CISA. But then, if we really think about it, we can look at it from at least 2 points of view. One is, to whose benefits will this whole thing accrue? And second, how easy is it to implement? How costly is it to implement? In terms of cost benefit, let's consider yung example ni colleague Alex. Yung like halimbawa, we can think of certain novelties, no? So like if we're having difficulties with the hardware, sabi ni Alex kanina, we need to invest. They needed to invest in 25 computers. Siguro, if we think more deeply about it, one thing you could have done is yung parang backload. How's that? Yung ina-upload from the different branches. But then anyway, it will require a certain IT expertise, diba?
And a big server.
Yeah, but anyway, madali naman gawin yan eh. Yung mga backup servers, mga hard drives, that can easily handle the whole thing. Yun nga, it's a cost-benefit evaluation that we should get ourselves into. And ultimately, as I said, let's really think about to whose benefits it will redound to. And let's look at CIC as a mere consolidator of data. The benefit will not accrue to CIC. No? Kung nagbabayad man tayo ng 55 pesos per transaction, that's merely to cover the maintenance cost of the system. Ang benefits is to us. Although of course there are certain downsides. One of which is, yun nga, if the banks will have access to the system, we will be at a relative disadvantage, di ba? Because we all know fully well that in terms of competitiveness of our interest rates, medyo talagang tagilid. So I guess ito ang isang mga pwede natin tingnan, no? How can we possibly limit access to certain information which we deem confidential insofar as the movement is concerned? Hindi ko alam kung paano. So konting openness lang on both sides. No? So kung pwedeng ma-consider lang natin.
Once again, of the Cooperative Development Authority and our partners cooperative, thank you very much, CIC.
Actually nindot nga informations about the update information about Cisa Law. Although my overall observations and comment, it was not disseminated properly to the concerned recipient of that law, which is the cooperative. However, it is also our prerogative to submit our standpoint about the law, although it is in a manner of due process. We want to submit a position paper addressed to the legal department of our Office of the President and copy furnish our CDA and maybe our Congress and Senate so that it will be reviewed and properly discussed in favor to the objectives of the law. Actually, there was no gain, there was no significant in favor to the cooperative. It is another burden given to the cooperative. So it should be reviewed. I hope the delegates now will protect its organization and members, because our members are being protected by this type of law so that they will not be humiliated. So as a general manager of IMCOOP, it is now my prerogative to protect the rights and privilege of our members. Well, that is a good participation of the cooperative sector as a whole in the new set of government under President Duterte, although it is also our prerogative to support the new administration of the President, to support his program and particularly address the needs of our marginalized. We have to unite all leaders and cooperative all over the country. So this is a good avenue for the discussion for a good teamwork between COOP and the government.
Katong sasi sa presentation, firstly negative because the same stand ni Congressman, di na ko nakita ang makatabang sa kooperatiba. Una, nindot unta, pero kung apil ang positive listings, lisod sa side sa ko, not beneficial. Kung mano-mano yung kung negative ko sa stand, even pag sugod pa, pagkabaliw na pa ani, negative na ko na. Pero mas nindot kung katong gingon ni Sir Banera, ang portal sa COOP lang CDA.
Kaya sila mag-yun?
Oo, sila ang authority. Lisod magod kung sa CISA kay SEC and CDA are two different entities. kung sa may authority ni SEC sa CDA, silingan ang hilabot mo nga, negative yun ko, on that side. Pero sa roadmap ni Cisa Banera, supportado kami na. Kaya purely ko to sa kooperatiba. Diya siguro ito mo lampo pagsugod sa iyang roadmap. Kasama, ganyan sa federation, nagsabot mag-meeting sa Lunes. Namin mo siguro is kung pwede, ang pwede desisyonan, pat karon is katong sa December sa korte. Sa akong mga membro sa NICO, sa Punto ng Integrated Cooperative, ako lang hangyo ang parehong pag nag-iusa sa co-op, kay kalihukan man na, para tamo lambo. Pero ang atong tanon, ang tutukan nato ang kalambuan sa tanan, sa kooperatiba, dili ang kalambuan sa pipila nga mga tao.
Naibaluan sa mga kooperatiba kung sa gayud kining balaod ka ng Cisa Law. Busa ang ato karon buhaton nasabutan nga para gayud paklaro ang mga posisyon sa mga kooperatiba, maghatag sila opposition paper sa CDA. Og na maganing mga resolutions di ay nagikan sila mga kooperatiba og adunay daghang pangutana ngano man nga dako kayo mga penalty, ngano man nga kinahanglan pa gayud maghatag niini nga pwede man na mahatag sa CDA through communication portal nga giinutukod sa CDA. So ang next step, pagka man nilang mahatag kini sa CDA, then mag-call ako kanang usa ka dako kayo nga panagtigom for dialogue. Siguro not less than 300 to 500 nga mga cooperative leaders coming from throughout the country to come, so that ang gusto gid nila nga aduna sila ay matawag nato nga time to really express their stand on this. So mao na. And then during that, we will also invite mga senators who are very much cooperative by nature. Sila Congressman Soberi o si Congressman Gordon o ang ato mga party list congressmen. Busa kinala madungog nila kay kini usaman kani kabalaod na nga kung pwede mausab kay sumala sa mga baruganan, especially ni Congressman Pablo Garcia, the chair of claims and of the CFI Cooperative, nga kinahanglan natubagon gayod kaya ang ilang stand murag gay question ang constitutionality. Busa kinahanglan nga matubag kini sa Cooperative Information Corporation, dili cooperative kaning Credit Information Corporation or CIC, para gayod nga may baluang gyud sa mga kooperatiba nga kani man ang subject sa maong balaod kay kung di sila makasubmit na may provisions of penalizing them. Busa kinahanglan nga dunggo nato ang mga baruganan sa ato mga congressman ug senators o ipadayag nato sa CIC ang ilang baruganan. So mao kana ang may tabo. Well, na sumala sa gisgutan kaganina, kanina CIC is registered with the what do you call this? Ang CIC is chaired by no less than the SEC. So, murag is puzzling on our part nga ato mga kooperatiba will be regulated by some sa SEC or whatever. So with that, kinahanglan nga CDA has come up with alternative remedy on this so that being the regulatory agency of the cooperatives, kinahanglan siguro isa lang ang regulatory body for the cooperatives, no? Sa pud na. Ikadua, siguro ang CDA can present an alternative course of action. You want to get data from our cooperatives, it should be done by the CDA being the regulatory agency of the cooperatives. Kung information ka na, then we have the manpower to get this information and put this in a portal, communication portal. And then it's where that they can get the information that they need for co-op lang. Because the co-op is not a bank. In fact, dili lang sila ordinary borrowers. Sila ang tag-iya sa co-op, the individual members who are borrowing are the owners. So they should not be treated as banks. So mao ka na ang ibarugan. And I do believe that somehow CDA should really come up with a strong recommendation nga that will also comply with the requirements of the CIC. Nga there is no need to penalize cooperative, the CDA, being the regulatory body, can be the one to submit those information, but with the consent of our cooperative. Kaya we have something as privacy to information. Ang position paper within the week, they will submit to me. So in the next, after that, give us 2 weeks, and then we'll call for a big dialogue. And COOP TV should be there to cover. Kaya importante kaayo kini nga isyu nga pakabanaan sa tanang kooperatiba sa tibuok nasod.